So this will definitely be a space for women. It's just gonna be me talking about a lot of the things that I enjoy, like makeup, fashion, political topics here and there, some newsworthy topics that I really feel passionate about, movies, series, kids, motherhood, who knows. This should just be an open space, a community of us women, talking, learning from each other, and just growing together. So for my first video, okay, so you guys have to bear with me, like this is my first video ever. I mean, I've recorded videos, but this will be the first one where I'm thinking about actually going live, so we'll see. So I really enjoy lists. I don't know, I guess it's just the admin in me. I don't know, like organizational skills, like I just love it. So I want to do a few lists. Like this is going to be a series where I do just a list of things, like 10 ways I did this, or 10 ways you could learn from this, because I feel like it just gives you a structure and you could just take that and run with. So I really want to help women as I want to be helped. Let's just talk, let's discuss it, let's have a conversation about it. So the first thing is, okay, so a lot of us women have dealt with relationship issues. We all go through the mess, but we need to kind of support each other, and we need to give each other advice that, okay, he really isn't into you like that, girl. So I've come up with a list of 10 ways to tell that he isn't into you or she isn't into you. So this is just, I'm not an expert. This is just from my own experiences, as well as, with other women, other people that I know. This is just a list that I've come up with. Again, don't take my word for it. I'm not the end all be all. This is just my observation, and this is, my opinion. So tell me other ways in the comments down below. And make sure, please, if you can, just go ahead and subscribe. And, you can meet me. I'll have videos maybe up every Friday. I don't want to commit to something and not keep my word. So I want to commit maybe to every Friday. But I'll have videos of makeup, this makeup look. If you guys want a video on this look, let me know. I did it, but I don't know if I'm going to upload it. So we'll see how that goes. Again, so now we're going to get into the video. We're going to get right into it. 10 ways to tell he isn't that into you. Okay. Number 1. He or she is inconsistent. One of the first signs is that you could just tell that he's just not into you. How? Because he's inconsistent, or she's inconsistent. One day, he's all lovey-dovey. The next day, he's like standoffish. It's like, okay, like, what do you want? It's almost like his emotion is up and down, up and down. It's like a yo-yo, and it's like you can't really keep up. And it's because he or she's living a lie. He's portraying that he's into you, or he has something else going on the side. But to you, he's like acting like he's into you. But then there are days where he's like, man, I can't even fake it. I'm just not that into you. So that's one of the first signs that you could tell, like, he's just not that into you, boo. Number 2, obvious. This is an obvious one, but he cheats. He mistreats you, and constantly. Like, there is something called forgiveness. I get it. Like, we've all been in relationships before, and if you haven't been in relationships, this is just part of relationships, like forgiving. Sometimes there's things that happen, but when it's a habitual thing, there's no respect, and that person no longer respects you. Therefore equals he is not into you. Okay, he is just not into you. If he is constantly disrespecting you, constantly cheating on you, and let's not even get into if he's putting his hands on you, then there's no relationship. There's no relationship. Okay. So ladies, I think that there's like a drug and abuse, well, not drug, but abuse hotline. Definitely if you feel like you're being harmed, or if you feel like you're being even verbally abusive, because I've been in relationships that have been verbally abusive, and let me tell you, I have story on that for days. So yeah, if he is being verbally abusive, he's just not that into you. Like, I was in one relationship, just side story, where I could tell he was not feeling me anymore. But he just, for some reason, he just didn't want another failed relationship. So he just wanted to be in the relationship just to be in the relationship. And I was getting verbally abused. And so I had to tell him, like, yo, I could tell you're not into me. And guess what? I'm not into you either. We might as well just hack it up and cut it up and just be done with each other. Number 3, this is another obvious one. He doesn't want a relationship. Like, you guys are grown. You're grown, he's grown, he may have kids, you may have kids, or there's no kids involved, but you're grown, you know, and you're at that point where you want a relationship, at least a title, like courting, you know, you guys are dating with the expectation to get married. It's like, you want that from him or her, and she's not ready to settle down. This is a tricky one, because this one may just be that this person's just not ready to settle down, and they're being honest with you, but at that current moment, he's not into you like that. He's not ready to settle. And those can be dangerous and tricky. That's where you don't want to get caught up and start, you know how they always say, don't be playing a wife role when you're not a wife. Don't be playing a husband role when you're not when you're not a husband or a boyfriend. And I mean, a lot of times women are not even girlfriends. They're just friends. They're just on the side, and they're doing so much for that person. And that's just not right. So that can be a tricky one. But you just have to listen. You just have to pay attention to what that person is saying. If they say they don't want a relationship, you have to respect that. And you can't expect relationship things. Like, you can't expect him to call you all the time. You can't expect him to come to see you all the time. You can't expect him to really make you top priority when he lets you know right off rip that he's just not ready for a relationship. He just doesn't want it at this time. So you got to respect that. This is one that really irks me. I don't like to see people getting used in any way. So this really annoys me. So I kind of have to know my place and not really get involved. But this is when you first start talking to someone, and I'm talking about in the beginning. This is fresh, because obviously when you get into a relationship, you're going to help each other out. That's just part of being in a relationship. But I'm talking about you guys have just started talking, and he wants to use your car. He's asking you for money. No. He's benefiting so much from being in a relationship with you while you're not benefiting much at all. It's probably just physical. No, he's pretty much just using you. He's pretty much just having you there because he doesn't have the means himself. So you're just there. You're just there so he can use you. But in actuality, he's really not that into you. He's usually, a man like that is usually have other women, and he just keeps you on the side because you're doing what he needs, or you're giving him what he needs. You're basically like a second mom. That's what you have become, and he's just not that into you. Okay. Now let's see. He doesn't talk about a future together. He doesn't talk about a future with you. Let me brighten this up a little bit. So he doesn't talk about a future with you. He doesn't talk about, 5 years from now, 3 years from now, how we're going to be, what we're going to do, things that we want to accomplish together as a couple. He just doesn't talk about it. He doesn't see a future with you. That's what that means. You haven't been around his family. Now, obviously, this is not for the beginning. This is like a year, 2 years, maybe, like 2 years and a half, and you've never met his family, never met his kids. Never met his grandmother, haven't been invited to the cookout. You haven't been invited to Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas. I'm gonna leave it there. No dates in public. So he doesn't take you out in public. You guys have to hide. Like, come on now. Come on. He isn't affectionate. Like, there are some people, for me, for example, like, my husband really helped me with that. Like, when I first got married, it was really hard for me to be affectionate and emotional because I have guards up, and that's just not the way I'm raised. I'm Haitian. So, I have a lot of guards up, and I wasn't really the emotional type or the affectionate type. So he's really helped me in that way. But it was like a constant thing. There were times like at night, of course, I'm cuddling and things like that. But I'm talking about a person who is kind of like, they just don't want you to touch them. Like, they're disgusted with you touching them, with you rubbing their head, with you showing any kind of affection. It's like they repel you in a way. That person's not that into you. Now that person could be similar with me. Like it could just be walls and they're not comfortable with it. So that definitely, that's when they really have to investigate a little bit more. But yeah. Okay, so number 9. He constantly refers to you as his friend. Like, come on now. I have, I don't have any homeboys, but there are women who have homeboys. There are men who have homegirls. It's like there's no need for extra friendship when you guys have been intimate with each other, when you want more, and he's constantly referring to you as his friend. That's exactly where he wants you to be, and you don't deserve that. You don't need that. So, friend. And the last one is the most important one, and this is the one that a lot of women get caught up with, and it's similar to 3, where he doesn't want a relationship. He tells you he's not ready to settle down, he doesn't want a relationship. But this is different, where he's doing everything with you. You guys are kicking it. You guys are, being intimate. You guys go on dates. You guys do everything else, but he looks at you in your eye socket. He looks at you in your eyeballs and tells you to your face, I am not that into you. I don't like you like that. Like, I don't like you like that. Like, but women or people in general, it's like that goes right over their head. And then they have amnesia as to what they said. He or she said they're not that into you. So if you're investing any time, any affection, any emotional investment in that relationship, it is just, you're not going to get a return on it, because you're actually giving an emotional investment onto something that will not give you anything back, because he already let you know, I am not that into you. I don't see you like that. You're more of a homegirl, or you're more of a friend, or you're more of just a person I kick it with, this, all of that. He's just not that into you. So hopefully this can help, ladies, man, this can help you out there, so you can see the signs. You can help your homegirl or your homeboy. If they're coming to you about this situation, you could just forward them my video and be like, yo, just watch this, listen to this, and get it together. Now it's completely up to you if you choose to stay in that relationship, but don't complain. Do not complain when things go sour. Do not complain when you're not getting the affection or things are not happening. Do not complain, because you've been warned, okay, that this person is just not that into you. And I'm not saying that this person will not be into you forever. I'm just saying, like, for that time, they're just not that into you. There are many times when you kind of just leave that person alone and start doing your own thing. You glow up on him or her, they'll come running back. But most times you're not even into it anymore. When he comes back, you're like, ooh, what was I was into that? Oh, okay. So definitely this is just one of many videos that will come, of just my my view on 10 ways or 10 this, 10 that. I'm thinking about having another idea for a video. It just came up. So definitely subscribe below. And ladies, let's start a conversation. Gentlemen, let's start a conversation. Let me know in the comments below, what are other signs, other ways that you could tell that that person is not into you, or share your stories. Share your stories, because I have plenty of, I've been dropped, okay? I have plenty of when, the person was just not that into me, but I didn't care. I was younger. So share the stories, share the funny stories where you had to realize, like, yo, he's just not that into me, or the opposite, or you had to realize I'm just not into him. I've been on the opposite end as well. So let's start a conversation. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with those friends or family members or people in your lives who is kind of on the fence, and you kind of want to let them know, like, okay, I don't really feel like he's into you that way. Just go ahead and send that to them. So you guys, ladies and gents, have a good day. Well, good evening, wherever you at. Peace, love.